Let's bring in our think tank. Joining us tonight, criminal defense attorney Joseph Krowski Jr., criminal defense attorney, former head New Jersey County Prosecutor Bob Bianchi, and national parenting and family relationship expert Dr. Sue Kornbluth. Great to see everyone tonight. Joe, I'm troubled here by the wigs, right? This is purposeful behavior by this mother who is taking her daughter on a trip and not returning with her daughter. She's not there on the 10th when they get back to California. And if she's putting her daughter in a disguise, what does that tell you?
Oh, I'm troubled by the wigs as well. I'm troubled by the fact that Melody was not part of the return trip. Or what I'm really concerned about is all of these people that are coming forward now and saying that this is a mental health crisis that the mother was going through. Where were these people and why are they just speaking up now? Look, technology is prolific and there is going to be digital footprints left by the cell phone, either through GPS tracking or anytime you make a call or you use a text or even when the phone is idle. Having said that, it looks like they really traversed through some rural areas where there are some limitations to that. The problem here is, well, it's not a problem, it's a constitutional construct. You can't compel her to speak, but there is a pathway to put some pressure on her. There is probable cause in my mind of child endangerment, and I think they should use all of the tools in their tool bag and start exerting some pressure on this mother while they can, before it's too late, and God willing it isn't.
Vinny, music to my ears. You've been listening to me say this since this case began. Where is the pressure from law enforcement? There are things that can be done, and where is the Division of Youth and Protective Services, or whatever they call it out there? They should be in court right now, making a motion to remove power of parenting with this parent, appointing a guardian on behalf of the child, exerting the civil pressures that they can exert. They can grab the mother and bring her in those proceedings. They can force the mother to say things. Of course, the lawyer can tell her to reserve her right to remain silent under the Fifth Amendment. But then also, where is the police investigation that, as Joe rightly says, if I were still the prosecutor, I'd be bringing her in on child endangerment, truancy violations, because she's not going to school. You need to shake this tree. Every second this clock is ticking without them taking aggressive law enforcement and court action is a disaster in my mind. So I'm glad to see that people are finally waking up, because we all know in missing persons, because she's now considered at-risk missing persons, that you need to, if you happen to unfortunately trample or tiptoe over some constitutional lines. I'm not saying we should encourage that. I'm not saying we want that. But if that should happen, that's nothing compared to the fact that she could be in harm's way right now. We've got to start taking care of business more aggressively.
I'm really actually very confused as to why Children and Youth has not gotten involved here already. I think there's many things that has been missed. One is that she should probably be in custody by now. In asking her, where is your child? And she doesn't know where her child is. That's number one. And having that footage that we've just seen of her in a disguise with her child. Why is she in this disguise? It's because she's hiding something. And I think in that realm right there is enough to bring her in. I don't understand what Children and Youth is doing right now, and that is a real concern. Where is she? And I'd be hammering her about, why are you wearing a wig? Why is she disguised? What are you doing with your child in these pictures? Red flags all over.
I want to put the map back up. Let me throw the map back up, Bob, because there's something else we need to talk about tonight. We put the map back up, and what detectives have now confirmed in this case is a very specific region. That Melody was last seen along the return route via video surveillance on October 9th, 2025, in the region between the Colorado-Utah border. Investigators believe the Malibu traveled through the following areas on October 9th, 2025. Green River, Utah. Panguitch, Utah. Northwest Arizona. Prim, Nevada. Rancho Cucamonga, California. Now, more information. This is the troubling part. More deception by this mother. Through their investigation, detectives have confirmed that Ashley left California with Melody in a white 2024 Chevy Malibu, initially bearing California license plate 9MNG101 on October 7th. Detectives believe that Ashley and Melody traveled as far as Nebraska with a return trip that included Kansas. Beginning October 8th, 2025, the Malibu was observed with a New York license plate, HCG 9677. It is unknown when the plate was installed or whether additional plates were used at other times during the travel. The New York plate seen on the car does not belong to the vehicle or to Ashley. Investigators believe it was used as a false or switched plate to avoid detection. Yes, we have license plate readers all over the country. When the vehicle was returned to the rental agency in Lompoc, the California plate was back on. So here, Bob, next level. This is next level deception that we're talking about. A wig, okay. Now she's switching plates on the rented vehicle, but we do know that as late as the 9th on this return trip, Melody was still alive.
Vinny, two Jersey lawyers must be on the same exact wavelength. That's exactly where I was headed. This license plate switcheroo here, avoid, and the wigs are clearly eliminate anything that we were talking about a week or two ago about the possibility that this could be a parent. She gets to do what she wants with her kid. This is nefarious and deceptive action. And I would add, to in addition to child services being involved and Joe's point about endangerment of the welfare, to my point about truancy, we now have interstate transportation of a rented vehicle across state lines with a false tag, because I understand the New York tag doesn't come back to anybody, certainly doesn't come back to her, anybody she knows. So there's these are all ways so that people understand. When you're in law enforcement, people would want us to do all these magical things. We don't have a magic wand. We can't make her talk for sure, but we can exert pressure. And these are all reasons to bring her in. And in Dr. Sue's world, maybe at a certain point in time, if they feel that she's mentally unfit or unwell, then she could be evaluated as well. Let me give her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe she needs to be on meds and needs to be brought back into some state of whatever you want to call it, in order to give the information necessary to find this child. The bottom line is you got to get your hooks into her, either in court, a hospital room, or a police station.
I think she knows exactly what she was doing. I do. I think she knows what she was doing. I think this is premeditation, and I think you're going to see a lot of things come out, like what was she doing up there? I don't know if all of you know, but in those specific areas, there's a lot of sex trafficking going on up there. And I wonder if that is what is going on here. That photo that we saw of her when she was little, it's very different than the photo that we're seeing now. So that photo that we saw was when she was very little in the beginning. Now she's not. I wonder if mom was dropping her off there for something. These are some things that I think we need to look at, and we need to be very concerned, because at the end of the day, what I believe is she's not alive.
So look, the fact that they cross state lines, that brings in federal jurisdiction, and they just have a wealth of resources. Regardless of probable cause to charge the mother, they certainly have probable cause to go after her cell phones and to do extractions and investigations. But I go back to, it seems like not just the license plate, even these locations were chosen because they're out of the way. They're out of the way of some of the technology that is so problematic for people doing nefarious things in other locations. They're out of the way of witnesses. It is remote by design. And again, this really seems ominous at this point, unfortunately.